Good evening and welcome back to Third Phase UFO Report. I am your host, Michael Roser, and tonight we will delve into the archives once again and extract some pretty extraordinary sightings. From Russia to Hawaii, people continue to report anomalous objects swirling about the skies, or staying completely stationary, as if inlaid within the environment. Tonight we will revisit some of these crafts seemingly frozen in space. Buckle up and get ready, for the sky is the limit, and we're just getting off the ground.
We have this coming in from Jonathan. Apparently did you just see that? Something just detached from this object. We just posted last night anomalies over Ukraine of doing similar activity, but now again Lahaina captured within the past 24 hours in our state of Hawaii. Weird stuff. I have Brent here, and right now the people are stunned. Let's just listen to their reaction right here. Listen.
Can I talk or anything anymore?
No.
Did you get any of the things on it was dropping on video?
Yeah.
Whatever it is, it's remaining stationary in the sky. I don't think it's a flare.
That is weird as hell. Did you get a good camera shot of it, Joey?
Right, the original video to the left, and there it is, something detached. Brent, what's your thoughts here?
Yeah, this is good footage. Good job, Jonathan from Lahaina, keeping an eye out on the skies. Something's happening, and guess what? This was, there it goes again. That's a good close-up of what we just saw, and this was seen all the way in Oahu too at the same time. And that being that far apart from each other's, there's something going on over the skies of the state of Hawaii.
It's worth noting that this particular object seems to have some sort of vertical descent, although it's relatively slow. Now, we do see some sort of illumination sort of melt off the object, reminiscent of perhaps a burning Chinese lantern reaching the peak of its flight. Normally, when people release these into the air, it's in the way of celebration, with multiple lanterns adorning the sky. Here, we only see a single illuminated object. Uninfluenced by its environment, the luminosity varies moment to moment as well. This may be an effect of the lens attempting to focus. Because the object appears to be within a certain proximity to the camera, I would still err on the side that this craft is pulsing with different intensities. I only wish we had more footage, as I would love to know if this flickered out, disappeared, or continued to light up the sky for some time. Alright, let's move on to the next sighting.
Received this video within the past hour as we're working on the Gemini along with the Lahaina footage, and now this comes in from Russia. What are we looking at? Listen to this. It's not making any sound whatsoever. I don't think it's a drone, or I don't know. I'm just scratching my head. Can you guys make out what we're looking at?
Although there appears to be some geometry to this object, it also looks like a toppled over mushroom or something that is losing air. If it is a balloon, it's quite peculiar that it remains completely stationary, as if locked in the space it occupies, a good number of feet above the ground. The object could be weather-related, but there are so many instances where we see these anomalous objects frozen in their place. In the 90s, Drunvalo Melchizedek and many others talked about an overlaying of the third and fourth dimensions. There was a possibility, they claimed, that we would see fourth-dimensional objects from time to time in the future, fading in and out of our reality. I know this may be a stretch, but when we are considering certain possibilities, it's important to take what is known and apply it to the next most rational explanation, even if what you're left with is irrational at its core.
Yeah, let's take a still from this right now. Let's get a closer look at what we're looking at. Could this be like a weather monitoring balloon? I don't see no tether on it. You'd think it would just drift away. This thing's staying stationary, and this guy's got a really good look at it.
it almost looks like there's a 360 circular thing and then a triangular object as well embedded into each other. It's very weird, obscure. I've never seen any kind of weather balloon drone like this. This is a great broad daylight UFO sighting.
Yeah, some size. It looks like maybe the size of a small vehicle. It almost looks like there's portals in there, these black round circular portals. Very strange.
I like the way the cameraman actually observes this, manages to capture a really clear shot. Very good video coming out of Russia. Again, I have no explanation what this is. That's why we're putting it out right now at Third Phase of Moon. I want to get your guys' comments. What do you think this object is? Is this some extraterrestrial craft? Again, a still photo. Try to make it out. Very, very strange.
Of course, we have been seeing these crafts and unidentifiable objects in our skies as long as history has been recorded. Today, there are conventional craft that we should always rule out first, although this has inherently made it much more difficult to identify these anomalies. I often wonder, what percentage of visitations and interactions makes up the ancient sightings versus what we see in our modern day? Well, let's keep moving forward and on to the next sighting.
Here it is, coming in right now. And what are we looking at? Again, more unexplained cube activity. Just take a look at this. All right, this was captured in Sigley, England. If I'm saying that right, I'm hoping I am, but in England, captured this month. It was about 4:55 p.m. and whatever it was, it says that he claims that it was at a steady speed. He thought it was a Chinese lantern at first, but about 3 feet in size, but he says there's no flame burning within this object. Again, we're taking a look at this. I really like how this thing is stationary again in the sky. Is this kind of snow in front of it? Man, what is this?
Yeah, I'm still trying to wrap my mind around it. Let's just look at this for a while. I need to see a better close up. We're pulled back. Where was this captured? Was this in his house?
Yeah, we're not getting we're trying to get more information. It looks like it was in his backyard, snowing. And it is right, snowing.
Definitely snowing, yeah. And it's coming down pretty good. And this thing's staying. It's moving slower than the snow itself. Well, falling. It seems like it's windy, and this thing's staying steady.
Yeah, you can tell that as well. And what's really interesting too is because Chinese lanterns, I'm sure, don't do very well in a snow blizzard like what we're looking at right here. Guys, friends, have you seen anything like this? Is the cube back? Because we've been seeing this cube-shaped UFO over the past few weeks right here at Third Phase of Moon. Kind of scratching our heads over here. Is there a correlation between these sightings in the UK and the United States?
Yeah, it almost looks like a flying trash bag. It's funny saying that, but it's a shape of a trash bag, a square. Definitely cube shape.
SpongeBob SquarePants, some people are saying in the comments below. Whatever it is, it's very strange indeed.
Here we are again with another anomalous object floating in the sky. This one is somewhat reminiscent of a cube, but there appears to be other textures along the bottom ridge at least. If it is a garbage bag the way that Brent mentioned, how is it holding its position and form within the blowing wind and snow? It does appear to be gradually moving to the left of the frame, but how is it maintaining a constant speed? At first glance, the object takes on the appearance of a square or rectangle as we can see. However, upon further scrutiny, we can tell that there is more of a triangular shape to this object. Why is it not toppling and tumbling as a result of the storm? Some of these unidentified objects do show up during inclement weather, but this object looks too small to harbor any occupants. Could this be some sort of radiosonde transmitter upgraded from the last models we saw as the public? Or is this something more organic in nature? With so many questions, we do our diligence to whittle away at what doesn't hold ground. Stick around as I take you into the heart of the Pochog State Forest, the largest and most haunted span of woodland in Connecticut. Again, this is another one of those instances where the road just does not feel like it will ever end. So I'm off the beaten path here on Hell's Hollow Road in Connecticut, and I've come across this field that looks to be some sort of industrial site, but it also appears to have been abandoned some time ago. I keep getting the weird feeling that I'm being watched and that there's literally something right behind me. It's very unnerving. Alright, well, I know there's a good chance I shouldn't be here, but this is one of the most haunted roads in the entire state, if not the entire country, based on my research. So we're going to keep moving forward. I just don't like the feeling here. This is just the beginning of the road. So I'm assuming there's a lot more to be had in the way of experience with this particular place. I was very uncomfortable walking through this section of the underdeveloped woods. What you're about to hear is a strange anomaly that I captured in way of audio, although I'm not sure if it actually holds any bearing. I want to submit it to you guys to check it out and give me your thoughts in the comments below. This particular lake has quite the legend surrounding it. Located in the state forest just off of Hell's Hollow Road, you can find this here, sitting in a very tranquil spot, a nice, easy, relaxing place to have a picnic at the park. But there's a lot of sordid history that purportedly occurred on these grounds, and unfortunately, it may have even involved the drowning of a young child. That being said, we have one particular woman of interest, known as Maud, and there are many thoughts to who this person actually was, but her name continues to come up in this surrounding legend within the area here, and unfortunately she's tied into a lot of the darker moments that have been reported to have occurred at one time. Right now, I'm walking through the Pochog State Forest, which is the largest state forest in Connecticut. One of the curious things about this particular loop of trails is that it spans 3.8 miles and encompasses whatever ruins and structures may have been here. Now, this is allegedly very haunted as well, and I have to say that being in this space, once again, I'm feeling these weird kind of cool pockets of air. Yes, we're in the woods, and you're going to find some of that amongst the different deciduous trees that are here. But by and large, these pockets are, I don't know. You feel like you're walking into the wall of coolness and you walk out of it. Allegedly, there were two sites that Maud's gravestone could be found at. The first was, I think, demolished by the local teenagers at one point or another, completely desecrated, and it was moved to another spot. Now, in looking into this, I don't see anybody who still knows where this grave is located. As far as I can tell, most of this has been overgrown and reclaimed by the forest. If the legend doesn't necessarily hold up, and the one known as Maud was actually a 2-year-old little girl who passed away from a certain illness, diphtheria, I think it was, then we have a couple things to look into again in the way of the legend of this place. Whenever I go out on these excursions to film these episodes for you guys, 90% of the time I'm by myself. And I find with that, I have some sort of hypervigilance when I enter a space like this. Not that having somebody else come along disrupts that, but it's a different entwining of energy when you have other people. I'm always trying to be safe, making sure I don't stray too far off. GPS and cell service doesn't really work out in these sort of areas. So if you get stuck out here, you're stuck out here. While I've always been quite a fan of purportedly haunted roads, I've always had to look in a peripheral sense to the surrounding area to sometimes explain this type of phenomenon. Now here, at Hell's Hollow, this particular road has an apparition of a woman who people have claimed they've actually hit with their vehicles, only to find no physical remains. By and large, if something traumatic occurs on a stretch of land or highway or road or otherwise, it's possible that the signature energetically could be imprinted there. Is that what we're actually seeing with some of these apparitions associated with very haunted places in way of vehicular travel?
It comes as no surprise to me that this story eventually led me to a graveyard. In fact, I was looking for baby Maud's grave.
Just a quick word of advice for anybody who's curious about coming out to some of these locations and maybe bringing something home with them. And I don't mean in the way of spirituality, but maybe enjoy this leaf. Maybe enjoy a stick over here. Maybe you'll find a special stone. Be very cautious about taking things out of these particular locations, because there are many who will tell you that something happened in the way of the supernatural after they got this object into their home. And conversely, as soon as they eradicated themselves of this object, all the weird paranormal activity had stopped. So there's an interesting association between objects and possible paranormal activity. Right now I'm in the area that allegedly harbors the original burial site of baby Maud. This is incredibly overgrown. Gonna be trailblazing, gotta be careful here. But the gravestone, or what's left of that, at least in the way I think of a pile of rocks, maybe just to commemorate, it's in here somewhere. But where? Now the story goes, again another version, is that when baby Maud passed away, she was buried close to the home she grew up in, or was growing up in, I should say, so that her mother could always see her.
I have no idea what these nearly equidistant scratch marks are on this rock.
Well, here it is. I found the grave. This is really interesting. It's only a handful of steps away from that original foundation of the house. So this part of the story checks out as far as I'm concerned. I'm standing inside of the stone structure that was clearly a home or some sort of building at one point in time. I feel a little weird. You almost feel like you walk down into this ever so gradual slope here into different space. It's kind of soft, but at the same time, it's sort of unnerving, if that makes any sense. I can feel like there was activity here, bustling, moving, life at one point. And maybe it's still here on some level. Just another one of these oddities that we experience when coming out to a place like this.
With the discovery of the memorial for baby Maud, I felt accomplished, as these places are rarely easy to locate. Thank you all for joining us tonight for Third Phase UFO Report. We'll see you next time. Until then, keep your eyes to the skies.